This is AFireInside ASMR, and today we'll be going through the official guidebook to the xfiles, created by Chris Carter. Chris Carter. The truth is out there. This show started in 1993, and it's about FBI agents who investigate unexplained, mind-blowing cases known as the X-Files. Though the government is convinced that the outlandish reports are false, conspiracy theorist Fox Mulder and realist Dana Scully stop at nothing to prove that the truth is out there. I definitely need to do a rewatch of this show because I saw it when I was younger. So for today, we'll flip through the introduction, conception, and evolution, behind the scenes, making the X-Files, profiles, and season 1 episodes. If you'd like me to do a part 2 and flip through the other seasons, please leave a comment below with a little alien emoji. An alien emoji. This guidebook came out in 1995, so it only talks about the first 3 seasons. I think there's 11 seasons in total. 11 seasons. I'm going to mainly be flipping through and looking for photos. This introduction talks about how the odds were stacked against the show, since there weren't many science fiction shows at the time, and Fox Network was focused on comedies instead of dramas. This next section talks about how Chris Carter came up with the show and had always wanted to produce something truly frightening for TV. He wanted to do his own version of The Night Stalker, a 1974 show where a newspaper reporter uncovers supernatural cases in his investigations. The idea to center the X-Files around FBI agents came from watching Silence of the Lambs. The Silence inspired by friends and family. Fox Mulder is a combination of Chris Carter's mother's maiden name and one of his childhood friends. Dana Scully was named after Los Angeles Dodgers broadcaster Vin Scully. This section also talks about how David Duchovny thought the script for the show was good, but thought that UFOs would get boring after a few episodes. He thought he would make some money and continue acting in movies. However, he went on to do 191 episodes of The X-Files. I think that he left after season 7, but came back to do the movie. When Gillian Anderson auditioned for the role of Scully, she was virtually unknown. As an actor. Chris Carter said that when she came into the room, he knew that she was Scully. Unfortunately, a lot of the executives at Fox didn't want her for the role. Chris talks about how he put his career on the line to put Gillian in the show, and he still enjoys knowing that he proved the naysayers wrong. This section also talks about how the X-Files won an Emmy Award during its first season for individual achievement in graphic design and title sequences. The show's intro was always spooky to me because of the music and all the strange images they used. At the end of the section, it mentions that Carter was convinced that the X-Files would never lack for subject matter, which turned out to be true, since it lasted so many seasons. The next section of the guidebook is Behind the Scenes. This section talks about how the writing staff worked in LA and the production took place in Vancouver. Roughly 100 full-time crew members worked on the X-Files in Vancouver. This show wasn't expensive by network standards, despite the reliance on special effects each week. Carter said he broke the to keep costs down, 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 down. Next section is called Making the X-Files. It says the flight from LA to Vancouver takes about 2.5 hours, but depending on the requirements of a particular episode for the X-Files crew, it can be at least a world away. Vancouver offers the advantages of being less expensive in terms of production than most US cities, while being able to approximate the appearance of almost any locale in North America. In this photo here, it shows crew members with a rocking horse they built for Gillian Anderson's daughter. The Sutton Place Hotel in Vancouver offered a drink promotion called the X-File, which was vodka, cranberry juice, and lime. This next section is called Profiles. There's some information about each actor. First up is David Duchovny, who plays Fox Mulder. It says the lanky New York native has gone from being deeply rooted in the Ivy League to a profession where he finds himself ankle deep in ivy, or worse, gazing skyward at objects that will only be added later using computer-generated graphics. Next up is Gillian Anderson, who played Dana Scully. The X-Files was the only pilot Anderson auditioned for in 1993. She anticipated at most committing a year to the X-Files, and she was just 24 years old at the time, playing a 29-year-old medical doctor turned FBI agent. Next is Mitch Pileggi, who played FBI Assistant Director Walter Skinner. Prior to the X-Files, he had grown up abroad and worked for Defense Department related companies throughout the Middle East before returning to the US. He auditioned for the X-Files unsuccessfully 2 or 3 times before he was cast as Skinner. He remembered thinking, why are they calling me back if they didn't hire me before? So he went in with a bit of an attitude for this meeting about playing Skinner. He was kind of grumpy and not in a very good humor. And fortunately, Chris thought he was acting and that it suited the character. is William B. Davis, aka the cigarette smoking man, or the smoking man. The smoking man. It says that he's actually not a smoker, but played one for this character. He did smoke once, but quit long before the X-Files, and puffs herbal cigarettes while playing the menacing character. Now we are on Stephen Williams, aka X. Stephen Williams spent 5 years as Captain Fuller on the hit Fox series 21 Jump Street. He landed the role on the X-Files at the last minute. He was born in Memphis, Tennessee, until the age of 9, where he was raised by his grandparents in a farming community. His grandfather was a Baptist minister. Next up is The Lone Gunman, created by writers Glenn Morgan and James Wong. This trio of paranoid conspiracy theorists, Langley, Byers, and Frohicke. They first appeared in the first season episode and have become reoccurring characters, much to the shock of the performers involved. There's a little section on each page for each character and the actor who played them. There was Tom Braywood as Frohicke, Dean Haglund as Langley, and Bruce Harwood as Byers. This is Nicholas Lee, aka Agent Alex Krycek. Despite appearing in a relatively small number of episodes, Nicholas Lee, who has made his presence felt as FBI Agent Alex Krycek, a mole working for the dark forces, seeking to block Mulder's work, says his affiliation with the X-Files has already paid dividends. When casting people in Los Angeles recognize him from the show, it says that he didn't take up acting full-time until he was 25 years old, after going to art school and singing in a band. This is Jerry Hardin, aka Deep Throat, which is the strangest character name I have ever heard. He can be found in episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Voyager, as well as Lewis and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Hardin says with some pride that when he's met with fans, people by the hundreds ask him to sign "Trust No One," and he has assumed that his delivery of that line made it something that they felt strongly about, and that they connected strongly with that character. Now we're on to season first episode is the pilot. First aired September 10th, 1993. 1993. It was written by Chris Carter and directed by Robert Mendel with a bunch of guest stars. It says FBI agent Dana Scully is paired with Maverick agent Fox Mulder, who made it his life's work to explore unexplained phenomena. The two are dispatched to investigate the mysterious deaths of a number of high school classmates. The principal setting was Northwest Oregon, starting with text that says, "The story is inspired by actual documented accounts." The second episode was called Deep Throat, which first aired September 17th, 1993. Written by Chris Carter and directed by Daniel Sackheim. Acting on a tip from an inside source, Mulder and Scully travel to Idaho to investigate unusual disappearances of Army test pilots. The principal setting was Southwest Idaho. Mulder pulled some strings to investigate the disappearance of a test pilot at Ellens Air Force Base, the sixth pilot to turn up missing from that facility since 1963. The next one is Squeeze, which first aired September 24th, 1993. Written by Glenn Morgan and James Wong. Directed by Harry Longstreet. Mulder and Scully try to stop a mutant killer, Eugene Toombs, who can gain access through even the smallest spaces and awakens from hibernation every 30 years to commit murder. The principal setting was Baltimore, Maryland. The next episode was called Conduit, and it first aired October 1st, 1993. It was written by Alex Ganza and Howard Gordon, directed by Daniel Sackheim. A teenage girl is abducted by aliens, compelling Mulder to confront feelings about his own sister's disappearance. The principal setting was Sioux City, Illinois. A teenage girl sleeping near her little brother disappears at a campsite which Mulder describes as a UFO hot spot. Next episode is the New Jersey Devil, which first aired October 8th, 1993, written by Chris Carter and directed by Joe Napolitano. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Scully and Mulder investigate murders thought to be the work of a legendary man-beast living in the New Jersey woods. The principal setting was New Jersey. Opening in 1947, a man is pulled away from his car and found with his legs eaten off. Police search the woods, cornering and killing a large, unseen creature. The next episode is called Shadows. It was first aired October 22nd, 1993. Written by Glenn Morgan and James Wong, and directed by Michael Cattleman. Mulder and Scully investigate unusual murders committed by an unseen force protecting a young woman. The principal setting was Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Lauren laments the suicide death of her boss, Howard Graves. She's later attacked by two men who are killed by an unseen force. Up next is Ghost in the Machine, which first aired October 29, 1993. It was written by Alex Ganza and Howard Gordon, directed by Gerald Freeman. A computer with artificial intelligence begins killing in order to preserve its existence. I wonder if the name of this episode is a reference to the 1967 book, The Ghost in the Machine. The principal setting was Crystal City, Virginia. The chief executive at a high-tech firm is electrocuted after saying that he plans to terminate the COS project, the Central Operating System. This next episode is called Ice. First aired November 5th, 1993. It was written by Glenn Morgan and James Wong, and directed by David Nutter. Mulder and Scully, in a small party, are trapped in the Arctic after the unexplained deaths of a research team on assignment there. This feels very The Thing. The principal setting was Icy Cape, Alaska. A team sent to drill into the Arctic ice core stopped sending transmissions after one of the members in his last contact says, "We are not who we say we are. Who we say we are." Next is the episode called Space. First aired November 12th, 1993. It was written by Chris Carter and directed by William Graham. A mysterious force is sabotaging the United States Space Shuttle program, and Scully and Mulder must stop it before the next launch. The principal setting was Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. The next episode is called Eve. First aired December 10th, 1993. It was written by Kenneth Biller and Chris Brancato. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And it was directed by Fred Gerber. Two bizarre, identical murders occur simultaneously on different coasts, each involving a strange young girl. The next episode is called Fire, and it first aired December 17th, 93. It was written by Chris Carter and directed by Larry Shaw. Mulder and Scully encounter an assassin who can start fires with the touch of his hands. Very fire starter. The principal settings were Boston, Cape Cod, and Massachusetts. Next episode is called Beyond the Sea, which first aired January 7th, 1994. It was written by Glenn Morgan and James Wong, directed by David Nutter. Scully and Mulder seek the aid of a death row inmate, Luther Lee Boggs, who claims to have psychic abilities to help them stop a killer who is on the loose. Next up is Gender Bender. That first aired January 21st, 1994. Scully and Mulder seek answers to a bizarre series of murders committed by one person who kills both as a male and a female. Next up is the episode called Lazarus. It first aired February 4th, 94, when an FBI agent and a bank robber are both shot. During a bank heist, the robber is killed, but the agent begins to take on the criminal's persona. Next episode is called Young at Heart, and it first aired February 11th, 94. Mulder finds that a criminal he put away, who was supposed to have died in prison, has returned, taunting him as he commits a new spree of crimes. The principal setting was Washington, D.C. Next episode is called E.B.E. It first aired February 18th, 94. Scully and Mulder discover evidence of a government cover-up. When they learn that a UFO shot down has been secretly transported to the U.S. The principal settings were Reagan, Tennessee, and Washington State. An Iraqi pilot shoots down a UFO which crashes near a U.S. installation along the Iraq-Turkey border in Reagan, Tennessee. A truck driver loses power, saying he saw a saucer, and lights. Next episode is called Miracle Man. It first aired March 18th, 94. The agents investigate a young faith healer who seems to use his powers for both good and evil. The principal setting was Kenwood, Tennessee. The story begins 10 years ago with a boy bringing a horrifyingly burnt man back to life. The next episode is called Shapes. It first aired April 1st, 94. Mulder and Scully travel to an Indian reservation to examine the deaths caused by a beast-like creature. A father and son shoot a fierce-looking beast that on a closer inspection turns out to be a Native American man. Next episode is called Darkness Falls. First aired April 15th, 94. Mulder and Scully are called in when loggers in a remote Pacific Northwest forest mysteriously disappear. The principal settings was Olympia National Forest in Washington State. Frightened loggers rush to escape the woods, with two shown screaming as green glowing objects descend on them. All 30 loggers have vanished, and Mulder says a simple incident happened in the same area 60 years ago. The next episode is called Tools, aka Squeeze 2. It first aired April 22nd, 1994. Mulder becomes personally involved when Eugene Toombs, the serial killer who extracts and eats human liver, principal setting was Baltimore, Maryland. Toombs, the genetic mutant who kills 5 people every 30 years to extract their livers, is being held in a sanitarium and has come up for parole, contingent on the results of a psychiatric hearing. This next episode is called Born Again. It first aired April 29th, 94. A series of murders is linked to a little girl who may be the reincarnated spirit of a murdered policeman. The principal setting was Buffalo, New York. A lost little girl is brought into the police station and put into the interrogation room with a detective. Moments later, he plummets to his death. Up next is the episode called Roland, Roland, Roland. First aired May 6th, 94. Mulder and Scully investigate the murders of 2 rocket scientists, apparently linked to a janitor. The principal setting was Colson, Washington. A research scientist gets sucked into an experimental jet engine with only the janitor, Roland, on hand, manipulating the keyboard to cause his death. Next episode was called The Erlenmeyer Flask. First aired May 13th, 94. Working on a tip, Mulder and Scully discover that the government has been testing alien DNA on humans with disastrous results. The principal setting was Washington, D.C. A man flees from police, tossing them around like rag dolls before leaping into the bay, leaving behind a trail of green blood. Green blood. Please let me know if you would like a part 2 of the X-Files guidebook. I can go through the season 2 and season 3 episodes if you'd like. So please let me know if you'd like a part 2. The back of the book says, "Don't hide the truth. You'll find it in here." For inside information on TV's hottest show, turn to this unique compendium of the X-Files facts and figures. Facts and figures. Everything you must know is in here. enjoyed this video, and I hope it made you very sleepy and relaxed, and maybe even nostalgic. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.